This is our 11th video of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. The shame of Sir Gawain. Then the other stood a great while, still sorely angered and vexed with himself. All the blood flew to his face, and he shrank from shame as the Green Knight spake. And the first words he said were, "Cursed be ye, cowardice and covetousness, for in ye is the destruction of virtue." Then he loosened the girdle and gave it to the knight. "Lo, take there the falsity, may foul befall it. For fear of thy blow, cowardice bade me make friends with covetousness and forsake the customs of largesse and loyalty which befits all knights. Now I am faulty and false, and have been afeard. From treachery and untruth come sorrow and care. I avow to thee, Sir Knight, that I have ill done. Do then thy will. I shall be more wary hereafter." Then the other laughed and said gaily, "I wot I am whole of the hurt I had, and thou hast made such free confession of thy misdeeds, and hast so borne the penance of mine axe edge, that I hold thee absolved from that sin, and purged as clean as if thou hast never sinned since thou wast born. And this girdle, that was wrought with gold and green like my raiment, do I give thee, Sir Gawain, that thou mayest think upon this chance when thou goest forth among princes of renown, and keep this for a token of the adventure of the Green Chapel, as it chanced between chivalrous knights. And thou shalt come again with me to my dwelling and pass the rest of this feast in gladness." Then the Lord laid hold of him and said, "I wot we shall soon make peace with my wife, who was thy bitter enemy." How Sir Gawain would keep the girdle. "Nay, forsooth," said Sir Gawain, and seized his helmet and took it off swiftly and thanked the knight. "I have fared ill, my bless betide thee, and may he who rules all things reward thee swiftly. Commend me to that courteous lady, thy fair wife, and to the other, my honoured ladies, who have beguiled their knight with skilful craft. But 'tis no marvel if one be made a fool and brought to sorrow by women's wiles, for so was Adam beguiled by one, and Solomon by many, and Samson all too soon, for Delilah dealt him his doom, and David thereafter was wedded with Bathsheba, which brought him much sorrow. If one might love a woman and believe her not, 'twere great gain, and since all they were beguiled by women, methinks 'tis the less blame to me that I was misled. But as for thy girdle, that I will take with good will, not for gain of the gold, nor for samite, nor silk, nor the costly pendants, neither for weal nor for worship, but in sign of my frailty. I shall look upon it when I ride in renown, and remind myself of the fault and faintness of the flesh. And so, when pride uplifts me for prowess of arms, the sight of this lace shall humble my heart. But one thing would I pray, if it displease thee not. Since thou art lord of yonder land wherein I have dwelt, tell me what thy rightful name may be, and I will ask no more." How the marvel was wrought. "That will I truly," quoth the other. "Bernlac de Hausert I am called in this land. Morgan le Fay dwelt in my house, and through knowledge of clerky craft she taken many. For a long time was she the mistress of Merlin, who knew well all the knights of the court. Morgan the goddess is she called therefore, and there is none so haughty but she can bring him low. She sent me in this guise to yon fair hall to test the truth of the renown that is spread abroad of the valor of the Round Table. She taught me this marvel to betray your wits, to vex Guinevere and fright her to death by the man who spake with his head in his hand at the high table. That is she who is at home, that ancient lady. She is even thine aunt, Arthur's half-sister, the daughter of the Duchess of Tintagel, who afterward married King Uther. Therefore I bid thee, knight, come to thine aunt, and make merry in thine house. My folk love thee, and I wish thee as well as any man on earth, by my faith, for thy true dealing." But Sir Gawain said nay, he would in no wise do so. So they embraced and kissed, and commended each other to the Prince of Paradise, and parted right there on the cold ground. Gawain on his steed rode swiftly to the king's hall, and the Green Knight got him wheresoever he would. How Gawain came again to Camelot. Sir Gawain, who had thus won grace of his life, rode through wild ways on Gringolet. Oft he lodged in a house, and oft without, and many adventures did he have, and come off victor full often, as at this time I cannot relate in tale. The hurt he had in his neck was healed. He bare the shining girdle as a baldric bound by his side, and made fast with a knot neath his left arm, in token that he was taken in a fault, and thus he came in safely again to the court. Then joy awakened in that dwelling when the king knew that the good Sir Gawain has come, for he deemed it gain. King Arthur kissed the knight, and the queen also, and many valiant knights sought to embrace him. They asked him how he had fared, and he told them all that had chanced to him, the adventure of the chapel, the fashion of the knight, the love of the lady, at last of the lace. He showed them the wound in the neck which he won for his disloyalty at the hand of the knight. The blood flew in his face for shame as he told the tale. Sir Gawain makes confession of his fault. "Lo, lady," he quoth, and handled the lace, "this is the bond of the blame that I bear on my neck. This is the harm and the loss I have suffered, the cowardice and covetousness in which I was caught, the token of my covenant in which I was taken. And I must need wear it so long as I live, for none may hide his arm, but undone it may not be, for if it hath clung to thee once, it may never be severed." The knights wear the lace in honor of Gawain. Then the king comforted the knight, and the court laughed loudly at the tale, and all made accord that the lords and the ladies who belonged to the Round Table, each hero among them, should wear bound about him a baldric of bright green for the sake of Sir Gawain. The end of the tale. And to this was agreed all the honor of the Round Table, and he who wear it was honored the more thereafter, as it was testified in the best book of romance, that in Arthur's day this adventure befell. The book of Brutus bears witness. For since that bold knight came hither first, and the siege and assault were ceased at Troy, I wis, many a venture here before hath fallen such as this. May he that bare the cross of thorn bring us unto his bliss. Amen. Well, thank you so much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Please come back for our next video. I love you guys. As Tigger says, ta-ta for now.